So now what we need to do is we need to have something that shows up when we actually hit the flag that isn't like the little word collided in the corner is just a debug tool. It's not something that, like, if you made it an actual game, would show up in the game. So we need something that is going to show up in the game, right? So they have these things called widgets. And the widget is basically, you can make it do anything you want, but what we're going to do is make a windscreen. So we're going to click on the content drawer, and we're going to right click in our open spot next to, in our folder next to our flag. And you're going to scroll down to the bottom, and you're going to look for user interface. And you're going to go and look for widget blueprint. That's what we're going to use. And click on that, and it'll come up and it'll say we'll have a user widget. And it's a widget that enables UI extensibility through the widget blueprint. So UI, right, is user experience, or that's not what interaction maybe. I don't know. I should know. Brain not functioning right now. Okay. So, and we're going to call this WIN widget for a win widget. And the reason I'm putting like names in here like widget is so that when we want to look for things, we could just type in like either BP or widget, and we could easily find the items that we're trying to find. So we're going to double click on this, and we get the window to pop up again, and you can see we have a nice little blank screen here that we're going to make something that is going to pop up when we click on, or when we run into the flag. And if you look on the left hand side, you'll see that this is a very similar layout, right? All the layouts in Unreal are similar. We have details on the right, we have palette and library on the left, and at the bottom we have the hierarchy with stuff, and you can see we have the widget. And so what we're going to do is, in the top part, the palette, that's things that we could add to our screen. And the bottom part, the hierarchy, that's going to be the stuff that's added there. So what we want is we want a canvas. We have a blank slate right now, but we need a canvas to start off with, right? So canvas, and we could just double click it or drag it into our screen, and you see we get this nice pretty green box, and that's telling us we're going to draw within this green box. And then we need something to put in it that we could write words in, so we're going to just have a text field, and we could have that. See, it's kind of small. And some things to note about this text box. Notice this flower on the left hand side, or sun, or whatever you want to call it. It's the anchor, and you could make it be in different places if you want. So where you have this text, right, we could have it be in different locations in different parts of the screen. If you click on the right side in the details panel, it'll tell you, like, we want it to be in the dead center, right? That's what we did. If you want it to be like right in the dead center, or you want it to be, we'll see what this does. And it's pretty small. We don't want it to be that small. We want the big writing, right? So if you scroll down on this, you could get different things, like we can change its color. Anybody who knows me, you know, almost everything I do is in purple. So it's kind of more of a pink, huh? There, that's a good purple. So now it's purple. I want, this is going to be your text, and I'm going to say, you win. Right? And so you can see, sort of, not really, that it changed the text to UN, because what we need is we need the font to be bigger, right? So if we click on font, you can see font is 24, and we want font to be much bigger. That's a good size for font. Now we just might need to center it, get the box to go all around it. And, you know, maybe we want it to kind of be in the center. You can kind of line it up yourself, figure out where you want it to display. This one doesn't have to be very elaborate. We're just trying to add things and get started. So now you can say, we win, you win. And now we want our flag to show this when it pops up, right? So we've saved it. We've compiled it. There was no problems. So now we're going to go back to the flags blueprint. And we're going to, in this window, you can right click and it makes a little hand and it moves your screen around. Left click just selects things. Right click is how you move things around. The mouse is still how you zoom in and out. So I'm going to leave the overlap component, right? And I'm going to leave the print just so we make sure we're doing this. And then we're going to do the right click out from the string. And what we need to do is first create a widget. Like, you might think we already had created the widget because we made the blueprint for the widget, but that was just creating, like, having the blueprint, right? Like, how we made the flag go out in the environment was we clicked and dragged it there, right? And so we physically made an object appear in our world. Well, we need to do the same similar thing with our widget, but we're not clicking and dragging it. We're having it be that the sys code, when the code gets here and it begins to overlap, it's going to print out the string, and then it's going to come over here and it's going to construct something. And this is where having the name helps, right? Is we're going to click on here and we're going to look for what we want to do, and we made the widget. So we could type in win widget. And this is why naming things easy that you can easily remember is helpful. And so you can see here we're going to add the widget. And so that was creating it. So we're creating the win widget. And then we need to actually display the win widget. So we're going to click again. So that was the input. Now we're going to click to the output. We need it to output it. So we need to add it to viewport. All right. And we need to add the return value. And we can hit compile and see if it works, and it compiled, and we have one that needs to be saved. We need to hit save. So we did this. And one of the things you could do with these is I'm going to select all these, and you could go and add create comment from selection. And I like it because it made a little box out of it. And I'm just going to put in here, you know, display win widget. And so it's just a comment. It just makes it so that you know what this code is doing and why it's doing it. It's always helpful and productive to, it takes a little extra time and it can be annoying, but be nice to future self and do things like this where you're going to document what you're doing so that you can easily figure out what that code's doing in the future, because otherwise you might forget, what was I doing there? All right, now we're going to come in here and test it, right? So we're going to go over to where the flag is to test it, and look at that. We win. You win, yay. So that's creating a widget and adding it to the collision for displaying. Yay. So I'll see you in the next video.